Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we're going to be talking about my cards that I think you guys should be picking up for March. These are cards that honestly have been reprinted recently, have dropped down drastically in price for some of them, and some of them are, I definitely think, going to spike up in the future, whether it's because of sets that are coming out or whether potential commanders that we might see coming out as well. Things are kind of fickle, especially with some of these cards that were older and then reprinted more recently. So then, the only supply of them that we have that people are kind of getting is the more recent versions of them. Once they start drying up and people start using them in decks more, then they start just getting more expensive, especially when they are kind of, cards that were reprinted in more kind of premium sets like Innistrad Remastered and those kinds of stuff. There is some new cards in here from Aether Drift Commander that I do think are going to kind of spike up potentially as well. I have actually started tracking all of this in a spreadsheet so that way you guys are able to see it and everything. I can share that down below if you want. If not, I'll share a picture at the end of our kind of results from the, Aether Drift early guesses with I think we'd only seen the commanders at that point. So it was before, the actual whole precons were even revealed there. So starting out, we got Renewed Solidarity. So this is an amazing, amazing one. So it's going to be basically you choose a creature type. Now, in the precon, obviously, you're choosing zombies. But in, say, for example, my Marnius Rabbit deck, I would choose rabbits. Creatures of that type get +1. And then at the beginning of your end step, each token you create of the chosen type that entered this turn, create a token of it. So you basically get to double it. It's kind of like a delayed token doubler. It's really, really cool. Like, I love it. It's actually, yeah, I'm really surprised that it's quite as cheap as it is at the moment. I think it's sitting at like $8 or something, but I fully expect it to go up a lot more than that. We got the Stride Hanger Automaton, so it's going to give all of your Thopters +1/+1. But the better part of it is whenever you create one or more artifact tokens, you're going to create those plus an additional Thopter. So, kind of like that, the Peregrine Took kind of thing where he creates an additional food. That kind of thing where you're going to just be able to create additional Thopters based off of it. So it's just really interesting. So if you create, a treasure, now you're creating a treasure Thopter. If you've got your Academy manufacturer out there, then what you create a Thopter, a clue, a treasure, and a food. Yeah, it can get pretty crazy. And I with any artifact sets that are coming out, and we 100% know there's artifact sets coming up, this is going to be huge. I think we got the Scarab God, so reprinted in the zombie precon as well. So why do I think this is going to go up? One, it went down a lot because of the reprint in the zombie precon, but we know that there is more zombies coming with the with Tarkia. There's more zombie druids, I think it was, in the precon for the Sultai precon. So this will go probably very well with that, given the Sultai is kind of like, self-mill and then remove stuff from your graveyard. This goes really, really well with that. I think this is going to definitely kind of spike up if it's not reprinted in that precon. We got River Churn Monument. So this is a new one from Aether Drift that I think a lot of people are kind of sleeping on if you've got like a mill-based deck, right? So I just built the Wise Mothman, and it's going to be a win con in that. I mill, like, if I've got people down to like at least half of their decks gone, then boom, now you're basically doubling how much you've milled. There are so many different triggers that you're going to be able to get from that as well. I think that any kind of mill like deck that wants to mill lots of things at once, not like, the winter, I think the winter one kind of wanted to mill a little bit at a time. This, if you want to just go boom mill, yeah. And we know, again, Sultai is going to have mill based stuff in Tarkia, so this is going to go well with that. We got the Zombie Master. Again, more zombies coming with Sultai. Giving them Swamp Walk is great. Giving them the opportunity to regenerate is great as well. And again, reprinted within that zombie precon. The next one here is interesting. The Conjurer's Closet. So it got reprinted both in Innistrad Remastered and then within the precon for the Living Energy precon. I think this is down to like $1 now. Which is ridiculous because when I'm thinking back, it was like up there $10 and stuff like that, etc. And just being able to flicker something is good. You can also just flicker something to essentially give it like pseudo vigilance, because You know, you attack out with it, it's tapped, you flicker it back in, and it's untapped then. So there's lots of amazing uses for Conjurer's Closet. It's going to be, it's a great card that's used so many different places. And getting it for $1, definitely, like, you know, even if you're not using it immediately, definitely worth picking up, I think. Panharmonicon. I don't think I need to talk about Panharmonicon because just like any deck that has ETBs, or a lot of ETBs, or you know your command is triggering ETBs, etc. There's just so many uses for it. It gets reprinted a lot within the precons, but then even when it gets reprinted in the precons, it kind of goes down a bit and then spikes back up. Goes down a bit, then spikes back up. So we're down in that like little bit of a dip at the moment. So worth picking up now before it spikes back up, before they, you know, bring out a new precon. There's 5 new precons next set. And, you know, there's going to be uses for this there. Whether, you know, even if you're not going to be using it immediately, definitely worth picking up. Academy Ruins. We're not going to see a reprint for this for ages, probably. And, you know, artifacts are again going to be featured within, like, you know, Edge of Eternity. We know there's going to be artifacts within the what's his face deck. Sorry, the what's his name set, the Final Fantasy set. Spider-Man very likely to have artifacts too. Like, there's going to be a lot of artifacts coming up, so it's definitely worth potentially picking this up, especially if, you know, you're in a self-mill kind of artifact deck or something like that. Definitely kind of worth having this. And then, again, I don't think it's going to get reprinted again unless there's like a precon featuring around specifically milling and artifacts potentially. I don't know. We got Hermit Druid. So that was reprinted within Innistrad Remastered with new amazing art. I love this art for it. And again, you know, this is a great way to be able to mill yourself. If you want to be able to mill yourself, it's great. Yeah, it's not really mill, like it's kind of pseudo mill because it doesn't actually trigger, like, you know, Wise Mothman's mill stuff. But it's still an amazing card if you want to get stuff into your graveyard, basically. We've got Cryptolith Right. Cryptolith Right is down a lot at the moment. Obviously, we've got like a different version of it with the what was it? The Tenacity Curiosity, like the Tenacity Glimmer. But still, like, you know, just it's worth picking it up, I think, as well. Just like, even if you just want the enchantment version of it rather than having it tied to a creature, because creatures are more likely to kind of get exiled and stuff, while this is more likely to be able to actually just sit on the board and just get destroyed potentially. We've got Liliana Dreadhorde General reprinted within Foundations, and oh my god, it is just such a huge reprint. It's gone down a lot because of that, so definitely worth picking up now before it goes back up. And again, I don't think we're going to see reprints for it again. There are so many different precons this could have fit into that they haven't reprinted in there. So it makes me think that, you know, it's at that power level where it's too high to be in a precon, but still kind of, you know, worth picking up. And the fact that it's, like, you know, cheaper because of Foundations at the moment is great. We've got Omniscience. I don't think they ended up reprinting this within the deck that I thought they would, which was the Jump Scare precon. But it's a great card. It's definitely, like, you know, very worthwhile having if you're able to play a deck that's kind of able to cheat it out. So like the Jump Scare one. Any deck that's able to cheat it out is going to go really well with this. And then just being able to play cards from your hand. It's a very, like, you know, memey kind of card. It's a win con. And again, you do need to be able to cheat it out. I don't think you want to be paying that 10, but still, it's great. And it's a lot cheaper at the moment because of Foundations. And again, Muldrotha, you know, I'm kind of like focusing a lot on this kind of graveyardy stuff because there's a lot of graveyard stuff that got reprinted recently that's just been amazing. And again, you know, we got the Sultai precon coming up. We've got in Eye of Eternity, there's at least a mill-based one. Or no, sorry, it's sacrifice your lands kind of one, which we know will play around with the graveyard too. So, you know, anything that's worthwhile kind of picking up from there is potentially, you know, worthwhile. And Muldrotha is cheaper at the moment because of Foundations. So, you know, any kind of, you know, deck that plays around with the graveyard that includes these Sultai colors is worth kind of having that card for. We've got Ancient Green Warden, ETB, like double all your land ETBs, all your landfalls. Great, reprinted within OTC, and then reprint like the what was it, the Desert Precon with Outlaws, and then reprinted as well within Foundation's Jumpstart. And yeah, being able to play lands from your graveyard's great. Having a reach, like a big blocker, is great. And then being able to, again, double all of those landfall triggers is good. We got Kadama of the West Tree, also reprinted within Foundation's Jumpstart. And yeah, great card. Very useful for if you've got equipment based decks. Keep in mind that we've got a equipment based precon coming up with the Cloud precon, the Final Fantasy VII precon. So this is going to be great with that, because you're going to be able to just get your landfalls whenever you attack with those equipped creatures. Also giving them trample is good too. Like, there's just a lot of uses for this, especially within that precon, and it's not going to get reprinted within that precon because it's not a Final Fantasy card. All right, so these are essentially how we kind of ended up with our previous specs. So you can't really see it because there's Artificer class down here, Urza, and Simulacarium Synthesizer. So you can see quite how much, so I've got this updated via Scryfall's API nowadays, and I'm just putting in the price in here. So we've got Tortured Existence jumped up 300%, right? Like, it was a great call to pick up Tortured Existence when we called it. We've got Currency Converter now, has jumped up to $13.14. I think I got a couple of those sitting around, and it's great within that Eternal Might precon. I think it's being found use within the Hashaton deck, and Hashaton is useful a lot. Rooftop Storm's gone up as well. The only one that hasn't gone up is Mask of the Schemer, which was kind of a little bit of a random guess there, to be honest. I actually thought that I said about what's her face there, Verena, but apparently not. One of the crazy ones here is Electro Siphon, though, and Gontai's Aether Heart. Both have jumped up a huge amount. Electro Siphon's up there, 2,787%. That was reprinted within Fallout, and now it's just, because that energy precon is huge. I did also color the actual money change, because I figure percent change is great, right? Like, seeing a card go from $3 up to $12 is great, but realistically that's only a change of $9, while a money change Simulacarium here, Simulacrum, I cannot pronounce that word, Simulacrum, doubling in price is huge. So all up so far, we've basically got a 75% increase off of the kind of different specs that we talked about here. We'll see as to what you guys think in the future. If you like the tracking as well, I can again put the link down below if you like. Just let me know. Have a great day and goodbye.